Hey, my name is Alex, and today we're going to do audio descriptions for a music video. What are audio descriptions? Well, they are, uh, okay, so if you have like a disability and, specifically blindness, you can't watch videos because you may not be able to see clearly or you may not be able to see at all. And so, how it works is there's a voice describing the content of the video. And that's what we're going to write today. We're going to watch a music video and we're going to write an audio description for it. And I think what you'll find watching this is that when you make an audio description, you're able to see clearer in effect. You're able to watch the video in a different way and see it kind of below the surface level. So it's a really interesting process, and that's why I wanted to share it. And the video I chose today is called "Skipping Like a Stone" by the Chemical Brothers, featuring Beck. And it's an awesome song. It's just sweet. So hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, and let's jump right into it.
ABC.
Cool. So the audio description is playing, which is great. Currently, there still requires a lot of like hand coding to get it just to show up. What I kind of aspire is for like it to be like one click. And if I do that, then other people will be able to edit these a lot easier. Currently, if you want to edit these, you have to go through all of the effort of just like coding it by hand. Um, but it's a temporary situation. I don't just code to make it look cool. It actually gets in the way, honestly. I chose this song because it has like great storytelling, and what I found when writing audio descriptions is that like the boom 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 of a story is the easiest to describe. And since I haven't really done a lot of videos like this, I wanted to start with kind of a softball, an easy one. It's true that there can be audio descriptions that are really entertaining where you kind of like use lemons to make lemonade. It's like a challenge. Uh, and I do want to describe some of those videos, but you'll see this is a softball. It's fun. And a lot happens. Like it's exciting.
ABC.
We're gonna need to describe this guy. All right. So that's good enough. Um, yeah, we're gonna need to describe this guy. All right.
A hairy woodsman emerges from the forest, making his way to the edge of a lake.
The issue there. Okay, now we need to describe. Okay, now we're gonna describe his face and the vibe of his face beyond being hairy. I mean, it could be good. This could be good. I need to see this.
A hairy woodsman emerges from the forest, making his way to the edge of a lake. He carries himself with extreme, zen, peace, a man who carries no baggage. Beside the small toolbox he sets down on the forest floor.
Okay, so the description is laggy a bit, so I'm going to move the description forward so that we have time to describe his tossing the stone. Uh, it is skipping like a stone after all. You know, they don't show him picking it up, so I don't think I need to describe the toolbox at this point. Besides, I won't say toolbox. I'll say besides a stone that he's carrying. Yeah, that'll work better. It's important to describe all the titles. What kind of car is this? Like an old sedan? What is that? '80s. No, it's not a sedan. Oh shoot, I don't know what that's called. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So we're gonna need to describe because I don't want to interrupt when it starts singing. So I'm gonna describe this scene and then try to get it to finish before the lyrics start. Moving over, hovering over. I want it to be more. I want it to touching. I need this thesaurus. Touch. Contacting. Reach. Stroking. Yeah. Okay. And then that should finish pretty close to when they start singing. So let's start it over and see how it goes.
A hairy woodsman emerges from the forest, making his way to the edge of a lake. He carries himself with extreme, zen, peace, a man who carries no baggage. Beside a small flat stone he carries in his hand. With majestic precision he hurls the stone towards the lake, the stone skipping along the surface. Title reads, Skipping Like a Stone, by The Chemical Bothers, featuring Beck.
Little small mistake there.
He sits beside the lake, surrounded by piles of smooth, flat rocks. He takes his time, his hands stroking over each one. Finally, he picks the perfect stone, the right stone, for this moment.
When you feel like nothing really matters. When you feel alone. When you feel like all your life is shattered. And you can't go home.
So I'm not going to describe that exactly because, there's too many flashing diagrams and stuff. So instead I'm going to talk about he's like a model, an example of like incredible skill that could be in a textbook, something like that. That's the way I'll describe that. And that's kind of what the images are conveying anyway, that are flashing up. They show like a diagram of someone throwing a stone, you know? It's like the ultimate example of human skill. What else? There was a misspelling in there, so let me fix that. Brothers. I noticed that these two were a little bit too close together, and there was a little space. So I'm going to move this a little bit later. It's not coming to me perfectly, you know. It doesn't need to be perfect at this stage. It's the first draft. So I'm just gonna, you know, make it okay and kind of carry on. Sorry about the leaf blower. It is like fall, so. Okay, so, you know, normally... Okay, alright, I know what to say. Yeah, there we go. And as you can see, you know, there's some creativity that you bring to bear here. And that's okay. That's encouraged. Okay. Is that a hunter or like a ranger? Let's see. Oh yeah, he looks kind of like a hunter, right? He has like the bright colored hat. You know, don't they wear like orange hats? I might reconsider, you know, possibly. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so what's happening now is that we're outside the forest, and okay, and some guy is just being a real jerk. It's going to be hard to like carry the viewer through this leap. You know, actually, when you watch it, it's the same. It's a little disorienting when this happens. Oh God, how do you spell this? That expression. I feel like here is a place for a little styling on the description. I don't really know what to say here. I'm gonna come back. Placeholder. Okay, so maybe we can stop here and see how it's sounding. Maybe you skip the beginning because we saw it a few times.
When you feel like all your life is shattered. When you feel like nothing really matters. When you feel alone.
He hurls the stone over the surface of the water, bringing to bear a lifetime of refinement and skill, his perfect form a marvel worthy of a textbook.
I'll just give it like a stone. I'll just give it like a stone. I'll just give it like a stone.
Most rock skippers would aim for 3 or 4 skips, 9 or 10 at the max. This prodigious rock skipper immediately scores 10 skips, the rock continuing to glide along the surface of the water. The rock continues to skip, halfway now across the lake, and losing no steam. And it continues into the forest on the far end of the lake. It ricochets through the trees, alarming a hunter and triggering a bear trap, all without losing any steam. At a gas station, a real chump of a man is smoking a cigarette and refuses to put it out. He blows smoke into the face of the attendant. Out of nowhere, the ricocheting stone bounces through his car window, bouncing left and right, destroying his car. The chump cannot believe what is happening. The rock carries on along the highway. In a small town, the rock hammers through laundry hung out to dry, gets wrapped up in a blanket like an unusual ghost. It flies into the window of a house. It drops the blankie into the clutches of a toddler who is stuck in his crib.
Great. You know, that's gonna need some description. This AI generated stuff. Okay, now we're going to look at this AI generated stuff. Again, describing it, I could describe it like directly, like it's showing AI generated images, but you know, when you're just doing audio descriptions, it's better to focus on kind of the emotional reality of the scene, of the moment. And so, you know, I could go to AI and stuff, and I might mention that. But I think the more important thing is like, what is it trying to convey emotionally? And there's this rock, you know, it's Okay. And then I think that's about where it stops. So we don't have that much time to describe it. Only about 10 seconds. And I'm not going to use all the time because, I don't want to overwhelm the music. This is meant to be kind of backseat to the actual music. Okay. I'm gonna call this guy a goon. In a dance studio, a woman dances. Again, I'm gonna have to come back to that. Japan. I do think it's Japan. Something about that elevator. You'll see it. It's like this wood paneled elevator. It just looks like Japanese. Something about rocking him, I like that. Satisfying. Is it seep? Yeah, 2 E's. How does smoke starts to seep in? Ooh, that moment. Ooh, that's really cool. She completely still inside. In its case. young kid. Credit show. Briefly. Young kid. Tapes together. Rock. Change. Boom. Okay, so let's watch the whole thing. Actually, before that, let me make a couple small changes. This one doesn't have time. I'm gonna need to give it a good 2 seconds. Okay.
A hairy woodsman emerges from the forest, making his way to the edge of a lake. He carries himself with extreme, zen, peace, a man who carries no baggage. Beside a small flat stone he carries in his hand. With majestic precision he hurls the stone towards the lake, the stone skipping along the surface. Title reads, Skipping Like a Stone, by The Chemical Brothers, featuring Beck. He sits beside the lake, surrounded by piles of smooth, flat rocks. He takes his time, his hands stroking over each one. Finally, he picks the perfect stone, the right stone, for this moment.
When you feel like nothing really matters, when you feel alone,
He hurls the stone over the surface of the water, bringing to bear a lifetime of refinement and skill, his perfect form a marvel worthy of a textbook.
I'll be skipping like a stone. I'll be skipping like a stone. I'll be skipping like a stone.
Most rock skippers would aim for 3 or 4 skips, 9 or 10 at the max. This prodigious rock skipper immediately scores 10 skips, the rock continuing to glide along the surface of the water. The rock continues to skip, halfway now across the lake, and losing no steam. And it continues into the forest on the far end of the lake. It ricochets through the trees, alarming a hunter and triggering a bear trap, all without losing any steam. At a gas station, a real chump of a man is smoking a cigarette and refuses to put it out. He blows smoke into the face of the attendant. Out of nowhere, the ricocheting stone bounces through his car window, bouncing left and right, destroying his car. The chump cannot believe what is happening. The rock carries on along the highway. In a small town, the rock hammers through laundry hung out to dry, gets wrapped up in a blanket like an unusual ghost. It flies into the window of a house. It drops the blankie into the clutches of a toddler who is stuck in his crib. It interrupts a young kid dejectedly throwing rocks, slamming into his rock and shattering it into powder, all without losing any steam. History flashes by, this rock was there when the earth was born, it saw empires rise, human myth, ingenuity, hope, love, potential. Hovering quite impossibly in midair, it levitates its way up to the young hoodlum, approaching his forehead like a caress that the boy needed but never received. In a dance studio, a goon hides in the shadow, watching a dancer. In Japan, a woman repetitively clicks the open elevator button, but nothing happens. The goon barely has time to draw his switchblade before the stone smacks it to the ground. He stares in disbelief before it clocks him under his chin and knocks him out cold. The woman in the elevator hardly has time to panic as smoke starts to seep in, before the rock blasts through the walls, putting a dozen air holes and finally hitting the open elevator button. The doors open and she escapes. From safety, the Japanese woman looks back. The stone is levitating, completely still, inside the elevator. The rock blasts into the sky in an arching shape like a meteor or a rainbow. sun is setting now, back in the forest, the stone thrower standing patiently in wait. The stone rockets back towards him. And it lands back in its case. Credits show briefly. The young kid tapes together a smashed rock. His life changed forever.
Yeah. So that's a rough draft. I would say that like it's not done. So what's going to happen is I'm going to edit this further over the next couple days, and then I'm going to post it online. I'm going to post it to my website, which is tunes.blue. And then you can go there and you can actually see it in its final form with all of the tweaks and stuff that I'm going to do. I would say what's missing is like it needs refinement on the timing. It also needs more flourishing in some of the words. Like it needs there's moments where I kind of got the style I was going for, but there's other moments where I just kind of like, oh, I'm not sure. And so what's going to happen is I'm definitely going to spend a couple days like coming back to it. It's like sometimes the ingredient you need is time. You just need to put more time into it, and you need to step away from it. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you are curious, like how did it end up? What's the form that has all the perfect timings, where it's not kind of like talking over itself? It gives space for the lyrics, and like I'm going to condense it a bit. But I think in the end, you're going to definitely recognize this first draft with the final draft. I feel like it's not that far off. It's mainly just like the finesse of the description. So I hope you found that interesting. I had a lot of fun doing this. And yeah, maybe I'll do it again. So thanks for watching. See you next time.